Today, we're talking about the smartest man in the Marvel Universe.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Matt and Stu Review, where we take a look at your favorite toys from yesterday and today. Stuart, what do we have on the table?
Today, we're going to take a look at a couple of Mr. Fantastics. We're going to start here with the retro-carded Mr. Fantastic from Hasbro Marvel Legends from 2022. So there you've got Reed Richards, part of the first family of the Marvel Universe, in his sort of Professor Reed Richards look. One really neat thing about that figure is he's the first figure I ever saw to come with swappable arms. So you can actually pull those arms off, take the coat off, and then stick these arms on and give him just his classic, jumpsuited body.
That is really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Because I was already a fan of the fact that he's in the classic blue and white Fantastic Four garb. So I was digging that as it was. Can you swap the hands too? Like, can you give him
Yes,
normal?
all the hands are swappable between the two arms, so you can
Oh,
kind of mix and match
cool.
as you see fit.
Well, I'm gonna take a moment to see if I can swap him out. If
Yeah,
you're okay with that.
let's go ahead and do that. We'll give him the salad fingers hands.
What was it about this figure that you wanted? I mean, he's quite a bit older. You said it was 2022.
Again, like Fantastic Four, we've talked a little bit about, them as the first family of the Marvel Universe, kind of their importance to the lore of Marvel. They've always felt like an important part of that universe for me. There's only 4 characters in the team. Just feels like a team you should have.
So it's trying to match them all up then, like.
Yeah, I don't have like a particular affinity to Reed Richards, I would say, as a character or not. I haven't followed the comics enough to follow him through all of the iterations. I do know that he's been a villain and he's been a hero. He's been the leader of, the Marvel Universe's Illuminati, kind of part of that like ruling council of the Marvel Universe. He's the smartest guy in the Marvel Universe.
That's like, I'm sorry, this is really cool. The fact that it's basically a different figure now. Like it looked, I was really happy with the way he looked with the lab coat on. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's a really interesting look. And then to realize that you could just rip the arms off and you had essentially what looks like a different figure.
It's really cool that they did it in one figure for us instead of making it 2 figures, right?
Right, that's
Doing the
true.
cash grab thing and going like, oh, you want a Reed for the lab? Buy this one. You want a Reed to fight Galactus? You got to buy this one.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna fight Galactus with his hot dog hands that he's got going on. Like that's a weird choice.
I
Like,
would say that's my biggest disappointment with
okay,
this figure.
I to me, like, I think of the arms going out, not the fingers.
You're
It's
like
like
stretching from your fingertip out. Like that's weird. Yeah, right. Like he's not Pinocchio.
right. It's very strange. I mean, there's other strange things. I mean, you could give him an elongated neck, and that's pretty weird too. You make him like a
Sure.
giraffe man. But yeah, I think that's just a strange choice. Again, we're talking about a figure that's what, essentially 3 years old at this point.
Yeah, and like part of an older scheme, probably reused parts and stuff. So who knows how old the actual tooling is
Right.
for the figure. But yeah, a real disappointing demonstration of his powers.
Right.
If I had to choose a reason for it, it's probably because they gave us the jacket and the extra arms, takes up some of the budget that you might get for real like power demonstration effects.
I will counteract you there because we are going to look at a second figure that also has the same effect.
That's true.
I think nowadays the two characters you really think of with the stretching powers like that are either Mr. Fantastic or Elastigirl from The Incredibles. So,
I think of Jake the dog.
oh gosh, fair enough.
Well, so now that we've taken a look at this first Reed, let's go ahead and put the other one up on the stand here too. This is Reed in what I assume must be a more modern costume. I guess I'm saying that because it's black. Are you familiar with this costume design for Fantastic Four?
I am. I'm trying to think when it was. I don't hold me on this, but I'm thinking like 2011 to 2015 zone. I do remember. I think it was Sarah Pichelli. I feel like if I'm going to jump into the character design portion of this because again, I'm me. I like the idea of a more modernized Fantastic Four costume. I like the boots having that weird, like, I don't know what you'd call it, like
A
racing texture.
Yeah, I do. I think that figure is actually entirely reused from the first figure, except for those boots.
Oh, really?
They gave
Okay,
him
that
some
would make
like more
sense.
like modern tennis shoe style
Yeah,
shoes.
dig that. But I dig that from a design perspective. It makes me think of like manga or anime designs that are a little bit over exaggerated, especially with shoes.
I I do like though. It seems like it's been a theme, as they've modernized some of these classic comic book characters to do like actual shoes, it really doesn't make sense to have all these superheroes running around with sock feet, right? I
Right.
mean, in their jumpsuits. So I like that as well.
That is though it comes with a criticism. I think for both of these figures is it's just painted on. Like there's, with the exception of the cool boot sneaker design, everything else is it's just the paint line for where the boot is shaped, where the gloves are, the belt. Like none of it has any sort of textural differentiation. Like it doesn't look like it's different pieces. And I'm not sure I'm sold on the blue collar. It's not cut the same way.
Yeah, it's a little shorter there.
Yeah, it looks a little odd to me just from a design perspective, especially since it's not a change in texture.
I think that body and tooling is sort of indicative of those older Marvel Legends where, they'd come out with a body buck and they'd repaint it 12 times for 12 different characters. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this body's been a Spider-Man or something too.
Okay.
They're doing, it seems like, less and less of that these days.
I'm glad. I'm glad because I don't think these are particularly bad figures by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know. The symbol also is not a different texture. Like you could really add some sort of a mold to that to like make the symbol pop because I do believe, especially in the black suit, that the 4 was a raised texture to it. Like it was a shield on top of the suit.
I could see that. What do you think of the portrait here? I think they both have the same Reed Richards portrait. I don't know, for some reason, like Reed Richards' face is really ingrained into me. Like he's like needs to be the most classic looking hero ever. He's got
Yeah.
to have the gray temples. I do feel like they kind of knocked it out of the park. Really looks like Reed to me.
It's interesting because I think they're the same sculpts. I mean, they look almost
Looks like it to
identical.
me.
This is painted better. I think it has more texture in the light. It just seems to be a more modern version of that, and it looks great. It's actually very quintessentially Reed Richards.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking back on it, I think we may be missing one accessory. I believe this guy might have come with a bearded Reed Richards head as
Oh,
well. I
okay,
think he had a beard when he was in that black and blue suit.
gotcha. Yeah, that would make sense. The beard kind of came into fashion around that time for the character of
So
Reed.
I may have done a head swap on this guy. I gotta say, we'll have to, I'll have to take a look and see what he came with originally. I have to say though, like, I prefer my Reed Richard without a beard. I kind of have them enshrined in my mind in their classic blue and white and, in the classic looks. When I'm looking for a team or characters that I want updated, it's almost never the Fantastic Four. I'm happy to let them be enshrined in their nostalgic look.
I'm almost in agreement with you. I don't mind the beard either way. I think actually it's kind of cool that it goes back and forth as somebody who is a beard wearer, I guess would be the way
Yeah,
of saying that. I like Reed clean shaven as well, so there's no problem there. He's also like is a character with public persona. I do prefer the blue and white. I kind of get miffed when characters have to all of a sudden be in black now to make them cool. I don't mind the reverse where it's blue with the black. It's not my favorite version of the characters. I still prefer the blue and white. I like the modernizations with texture and like elements, like a belt being a belt and not painted on.
yeah.
Fads have changed in design that
I
has
was going to say,
changed.
I think that's a perfect segue into our next topic, which was actually talking about the Reed Richards Mr. Fantastic figure from the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, played by Pedro Pascal. So we
Right.
both had a chance to kind of look at the upcoming Reed Richards figure, and let's hear some of your opening thoughts there.
I really like it. I think that there is something about the way that the suit looks that I really enjoy just in general. There's a space suitness to the costume, and it's really reflected in the figure, at least according to the images we're seeing. Again, we're looking at the prelim photos and not actually the figure itself. So I think it looks really cool. And I think it does have that like 1950s, 1960s, we're going out to space.
Now that you're saying that, yeah, it also has like a little bit of like a classic fighter pilot, like with the
Okay.
sweaters,
Yeah.
like because they always had those sweaters with the shoulder pads and the elbow pads. I can see a little bit of that like 1940s militaristic
Mhm.
costume design in there.
Well,
I also like it a lot.
I think the effect for the powers seems to be a lot more interesting.
It kills it. The new Mr. Fantastic comes with bendy arms, some extra elongated, swappable arms. They seem to have a bendy wire in them, so you can really, get some Mr. Fantastic poses going.
Yeah, it's much more interesting looking than hot dog fingers because the hot dog fingers are just so weird.
So weird.
So I'm thinking about
Everything everywhere all at once.
There you
Yeah.
go. And there are elements of the design that maybe miss out a thing, but then again, we're going into character design, not necessarily looking at the figure itself when we're talking about that.
Yeah, I like the figure a lot because, other than his stretching powers, Mr. Fantastic is just a guy, and so how do you make just a guy interesting? And so I think like adding, the texture and more to the costume does a lot. Goes really far in adding to like the intricacy. For example, he has like this black patch. He has white gloves, but they have a black, rim, and then he's got this black patch that goes down and covers the whole palm of the gloves. And just like little design considerations like that that kind of elevate the whole look.
I am missing the white collar, and I think that they've made a differentiation between all of the characters in First Steps. That the white collar is different on everybody.
Another thing I really like about the Pedro Pascal Mr. Fantastic figure is like his actual build. This is a really skinny Mr. Fantastic,
Mhm.
right? Like I think of Mr. Fantastic as like a fully grown adult man who's, filled out, not a
Yeah,
skinny guy like me, but like heroic
yeah.
build.
I
And
actually thought of him as being shorter, which is interesting. So like the length makes it feel really weird to me. I think of Johnny maybe being taller than him. I don't.
I think of that too. It's hard to say with Reed because he stretches, right? He could be as tall as he wants. Now that we've looked at these figures, do you think we've talked about them enough to do a preliminary rating?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. How would you rate Mr. Fantastic from the upcoming movie here?
I'm going with a 9. I really think it looks like a good figure. I think I'm really happy with the design elements of it. So hopefully it turns out that way that it's actually as good as it seems.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 9 as well. I'm not, looking forward to that line a lot, but that figure looks great. He looks like a really good Mr. Fantastic. I'd love to, maybe see if I can't swap a more comic style Mr. Fantastic head onto him. Then I'd have to find some other figures to match. So maybe I do end up buying all the Fantastic Four, but I'd give him a 9 as well.
I'd be interested to see you trying to get the lab coat on the new figure, so
Ooh,
have like an accent of the coat on.
his arms come off, but these arms might be a little skinny. Well, let's move on. Let's take a look at the more modern black style. How'd you rate this figure?
I think I'm gonna give this one a 6. It's not bad. I don't think it's a bad figure by any stretch of the imagination, but it is so painted on, and as far as the design goes, it's just not a design I'm a big fan of for the characters, and that kind of goes a long way.
I'm going to give him a 6 as well. He's kind of ended up as an orphan in my collection too, because I think I have the black suited Sue as
Mhm.
well, but neither of the other two members of the team. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 6. He's a pretty basic figure. The hot dog fingers are just a swing and a miss, and the fact that they had the opportunity to do a different, power set for the second figure, and instead they just went ahead and used those hot dog fingers again, really disappointing.
I do want to highlight though the second hand. I don't know how well this will come through. The second hand has black palms, and it's almost like maybe that came the new design came a little bit from this one.
Yeah, it's a shame they didn't go ahead and put those black palms on the hot dog hands, though.
Consistency, right?
Right. Yeah, and then finally, our classic Reed Richards here. What would you rate him, Nat?
I'm gonna go up one more score and just give him a 7 because I think it's more what I have in my head for Reed that I would rather see that. And the lab coat almost pushes it to an 8. It's the it's the fact that once again everything is just painted on. So
I hate to copy you on everything here, but I'm going to give him a 7 as well, and I'm going to say the lap coat is actually bringing him up to that 7.
okay.
I'd say these guys are both kind of a 6 for me. Like I have to have him in my collection because he's the head of the first family of Marvel, but they just could have done a better demonstration of his power set. I'll be excited for the next comic style read. I'm sure they'll have a pinless one coming out here sooner than later.
And we want to hear from you. What is your favorite character from comics, animation, films that has stretchy powers?
Mine's Jake the dog.
I'm gonna go with Elastigirl. I mentioned her earlier. Big Incredibles fan. So
Yeah, I mean Elastigirl too. What a great callback to the Fantastic Four. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. This has been a selection of Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic from Marvel Legend, starting with the 2022 retro card.
and if you like toys and reviews like this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.